There are terrible diseases that can quickly affect people's lives. These diseases can be transmitted to humans through air, water, food, and even through insects and animals. Some of these diseases can spread quickly, and if left untreated, they may lead to death. Now join me and I will tell you 5 of the most terrible ones. The first one is high fever, one of the viral diseases that is prevalent in many parts of the world. This disease can be very dangerous for patients because of the severe symptoms it brings. In this article, we will review the symptoms, causes, treatment and prevention of high fever. Symptoms of high fever include high fever, headache, muscle pain, fatigue, weakness, nausea and vomiting, abdominal pain and diarrhea. In some cases, patients may also have symptoms such as bleeding gums, yellow skin, bruised skin, and internal bleeding. The main cause of high fever is the dengue virus, which is transmitted by sunflower mosquitoes. These mosquitoes live in tropical and humid areas and are more active in the rainy season. Dengue fever is common in many parts of the world, but it occurs mostly in areas with poor sanitary conditions, such as Africa, Asia, and South America. Treatment of high fever includes supportive care and symptomatic treatment. Patients should rest at home and drink more fluids to avoid spreading the disease to others. In some cases, patients need to be hospitalized to speed up their recovery. Currently, there is no vaccine to prevent dengue fever. But the spread of the disease can be prevented by reducing the number of mosquitoes and using personal protection such as using mosquito repellent sprays, wearing appropriate clothing, and using screened windows and doors. As a result, typhoid fever is one of the dangerous viral diseases that spread in many parts of the world. To prevent this disease, one should use personal protection such as using mosquito repellent sprays and wearing appropriate clothes. Also, in case of high fever symptoms, you should go to the doctor quickly and get the proper treatment. The next thing, which is much more terrible, is the AIDS disease. AIDS or AIDS disease is a viral disease caused by the HIV virus. This disease weakens the body's immune system and makes the body vulnerable to other infections. This disease is recognized as one of the biggest health threats in the world, and every year millions of people around the world are affected by this disease. This disease is transmitted through sexual contact, the use of non-reusable needles, transmission from mother to baby at birth, and through blood and blood products. Although this disease was very scary in its early years, but with the progress of its treatments, today people with AIDS can live a normal and longer life with the control of the disease and proper care. Early symptoms of AIDS include fever, fatigue, headache, lymph swelling, muscle pain, and sore throat. These symptoms may appear within a few weeks to a few months after contracting the disease. After this period, the disease reaches the silent stage, and in this stage, the disease progresses imperceptibly in the body. At this stage, the patient may not have any symptoms of the disease, but when the disease reaches a more advanced stage, symptoms such as severe headache, fever, changes in body weight, diarrhea, cancer and many other infections appear. Because AIDS weakens the body's immune system, patients with this disease must take special care. These cares include the use of antiviral drugs, proper nutrition, proper vaccination, and taking care of the patient's physical and mental health. Also, to prevent the transmission of the disease to others, protective methods such as using condoms during sex, using reusable needles, and not sharing personal items such as toothbrushes, hoses, etc., should be used. Finally, it should be said that AIDS is still one of the biggest health challenges in the world, and to control it, there is a need for cooperation and coordination between countries and global health organizations. However, with the advancement of AIDS treatments and increasing public awareness of this disease, we hope that in the near future, we will be able to completely control this disease and save society from this great health threat. The third is a very terrible tragedy called the plague. Plague disease is one of the biggest and scariest diseases in the history of mankind, which has spread throughout the world as a contagious and pandemic for centuries. This disease, which was also known as the Black Death, due to its widespread prevalence in the Middle Ages, has caused the death of many people. Plague is a type of bacteria that is transmitted to humans through bites or directly through contact with animals or humans. Symptoms of this disease include fever, headache, fatigue, neck swelling and inflammation, skin sores and bleeding in some cases. If left untreated, the plague can quickly spread to other parts of the body and cause death. Throughout history, the plague has broken out several times in the world and caused many deaths. In the Middle Ages, the outbreak of the plague caused the population of Europe to decrease drastically, and its effects on different societies and cultures were highly significant. In recent years, this disease has spread in some parts of the world and has caused the death of many people. Considering the dangers of plague for the society, prevention and treatment of this disease is very important. Plague can be treated using antibiotics and special drugs, and if treated in time, the chances of recovery are higher. Also, it is very important to prevent this disease according to hygiene principles, such as washing hands, avoiding contact with sick animals and using masks and gloves if needed. Finally, it must be said that the plague is one of the biggest health and medical challenges in the world, which is still recognized as a dangerous disease in some parts of the world. To deal with this disease, one should use all the medical and health tools and carefully follow the health principles. And the fourth case is a virus from the heart of Africa. Ebola virus is one of the most dangerous and deadly viruses in the world that causes Ebola disease in humans and animals. This virus appeared in Zaire in 1976, and since then it has spread several times in African countries and some other countries. The Ebola virus belongs to the family of filoviruses and has a coating of membrane proteins, which is called a protein complex. This virus has a genome that consists of an RNA strand that is inside a protein coat. Because of the presence of RNA as a genome, the Ebola virus can change rapidly, and this makes the structure of the virus and the way it works change quickly, and it is difficult to fight it. Symptoms of Ebola include fever, headache, muscle pain, fatigue, cough, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, internal and external bleeding, and shock. This disease can appear in 2 to 21 days after infection, and in most cases it progresses rapidly and can lead to the death of a person. The Ebola virus is transmitted to others through organic substances such as blood, sweat, urine, feces, sperm and other bodily substances of humans and animals. This virus is easily transmitted and can spread quickly in some African countries due to poor health conditions and lack of access to medical equipment and adequate vaccines. To fight the Ebola virus, it is very important to develop the ability to treat and prevent the disease. Treatment of Ebola includes medical care, injection of saline and electrolyte solutions, special vaccines and antiviral drugs. Also, prevention of contracting this disease includes observing personal hygiene, using protective equipment such as gloves and masks, separating patients from others, and creating appropriate health conditions in hospitals and health centers. As a result, Ebola virus is one of the dangerous and deadly viruses that cause Ebola disease in humans and animals. To fight this disease, it is very important to develop the ability to treat and prevent this disease. And observing personal hygiene and creating appropriate health conditions in hospitals and health centers can help reduce the spread of this disease. And the last case is the terrible disease of tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is an infectious and communicable disease caused by infection with Mycobacterium tuberculosis. This bacterium mainly affects the lungs, but it can also cause infection in other parts of the body. Tuberculosis can lead to serious health problems and in some cases even lead to death due to lack of proper treatment. Symptoms of tuberculosis may go undiagnosed for a long time, and in some cases may include symptoms such as cough, bloody sputum, shortness of breath, fever, weight loss, fatigue, and chest pain. If you are experiencing such symptoms, you should visit your doctor so that he can make an accurate diagnosis about your condition. The treatment of tuberculosis varies depending on the severity of the disease and the location of the infection. Treatment usually involves taking anti-inflammatory drugs that must be taken for a long time. In some cases, patients need to be hospitalized in order to receive proper treatment. Also, in some cases, surgery may be necessary to treat tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is preventable. To avoid contracting this disease, you should stay away from people who have tuberculosis and stay away from people who have symptoms of tuberculosis. Also, you should pay attention to your personal hygiene and wash your hands frequently with soap and water, and avoid sharing personal items such as glasses, spoons and forks with others. Overall, tuberculosis is a serious disease that requires proper treatment. You can recover from tuberculosis by visiting your doctor and following the treatment instructions.